So in this particular video, we are going to be discussing the MCQs in the RTP May 25. Okay, और दिन ऐसे के देखते देखते RTP भी आ गई, MTP भी आ गए, और मैंने सोचा था कि हाँ मई में अटेम्प्ट है, नवंबर में अटेम्प्ट है ना, ऐसे ऐसे ये पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रैटेजी होगी पढ़ाई करने के लिए, ये सारे चैप्टर्स कवर हो गए, ये सारा लेक्चर्स आई विल वॉच, और फिर सारा रिविजन करेंगे, MCQ करेंगे, राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस। आई डोंट नो कि जितना आपने जो सोचा था कितना आप उसको एग्जीक्यूट कर पाए हो। तो बस मुझे एक बात आपको यहाँ बतानी है कि बाय एनी चांस अगर ऐसा हो रहा है कि जो आपने स्ट्रैटेजी बनाई थी उस हिसाब से आप आपका सिलेबस कवर नहीं कर पाए हो, और इसी कारण आप सोच रहे हो कि कुछ चैप्टर्स में ऑप्शन में छोड़ दूं, कि जैसे तुम सोच रहे हो यार इंटरनल ऑडिट ठीक है, या PSU का चैप्टर ठीक है, अभी जो भी आपसे नहीं हुआ वो आपके लिए ठीक है, तो प्लीज ऐसा करना नहीं है। You are not going to leave anything in option. You still have the time to burn the midnight oil and complete all the chapters, complete all the topics in the syllabus. इसके बाद आपको ये भी देखना है कि एथिक्स के सारे क्लॉजेस, डू यू नो देम वर्ड बाय वर्ड, है ना, क्या आपको एथिक्स के क्लॉज नंबर आइडेंटिफाई हो रहे हैं, क्या आपको वो पर्टिकुलर क्लॉज का कंटेंट याद आ रहा है, क्या आप ये कंक्लूड कर पा रहे हो कि चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट गिल्टी है या चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज नॉट गिल्टी ऑफ द प्रोफेशनल मिसकंडक्ट। ओके राइट, तो नाउ लेट अस कम टू द MCQs इन द RTP में 25, है ना। तो जब भी MCQ आता है, और मेनली जब भी इंटीग्रेटेड MCQ आता है, तो पहले तो हम लोग इंटीग्रेटेड केस स्टडी, तो हम लोग तो पहले पूरी केस स्टडी पढ़ते हैं, फिर पता चलता है कि हाँ ये इस पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर के रिलेटेड, ये पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक के रिलेटेड होगा, है ना, कोई पर्टिकुलर एसे या CARO या बैंक ऑडिट और समथिंग, और उसके बाद वो पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक कोई अगर एसे का क्वेश्चन है, जैसे कि ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में ये बात कहाँ कही जाएगी कि वेदर इट विल बी पुट इन क्वालिफाइड opinion, emphasis of matter, key audit matter या other matter. So this is the real testing done for you, है ना, कि ठीक है आपने ऐसे 700, 701, 705, 706 तो पढ़ लिया था, बट अब जब इसका प्रैक्टिकल बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ रहा है ना, कि ये कहाँ जाएगा, कि कारो में ये पर्टिकुलर मैटर का रिपोर्टिंग होगा या नहीं होगा, कि बैंक ऑडिट में क्या ये पर्टिकुलर एसेट जो NPA है, क्या ये डाउटफुल एसेट है, सबस्टैंडर्ड एसेट है या लॉस एसेट है। तो नाउ इट इज द एप्लीकेशन पार्ट, है ना, now comes to the application part over there. Okay, right, so let us look into the first integrated case scenario over there. What I'm reading right now is the RTP May 25, the integrated case scenario. Okay, WYZ Ltd incorporated during the year 2002-3 is a leading unicorn startup and top manufacturer of silicon wafers with 2 advanced plants and over 6,000 employees. As a pioneer in its industry to be listed on the stock exchange, WYZ Ltd underscores its long outstanding and influential presence in the financial market. The company consistently complies with the SEBI LODR regulations 2015, ensuring regulatory adherence and maintaining credibility among the investors and stakeholders. Considering the nature, size and extent, the company has appointed CAP and Company and BMS and Company as their joint auditors. Both the firm divided the work in accordance with SA 299, shared the allocation of tasks to TCWG and started conducting the audit procedures. Wonderful. SA 299. During the audit engagement, CAP and Company was assigned to verify the PPE. The engagement partner of CAP carried out the verification process. However, he did not maintain any documentation of the same. Additionally, he did not perform impairment testing of the PPE at the end of the financial year. Right? So one part of the audit was to be done by CAP, and CAP has not done the work properly. Okay, right. Mr. B, the engagement partner of BMS and Company, was responsible for verification of procure to pay process. However, he was informed by management that Mr. E, their internal auditor, has already verified P2P process and carried out the relevant audit procedure, and thereby he relied upon the work of Mr. E using the work of internal auditor SA 610. He neither conducted audit procedure to evaluate the work of the internal auditor, nor documented his conclusion regarding the evaluation of the adequacy of the work of the internal auditor. Moreover, looking at the increase in the scale of business, the management of WYZ Limited took the decision to implement ERP in its business during the year and gave contract to Info Limited to develop an ERP suitable for its business. The development of ERP was completed on 12th August 23. The management started adoption of ERP and replacing its old practices. The adoption took a span of 4 months and was successfully completed on 3rd December 23. The previous software did not audit trail feature and the audit trail was operational from December 3, 2023. However, the auditors of the company have not reported any the above matter related to the audit trail in their main audit report. In addition to the above, the WYZ Limited has one Indian wholly owned subsidiary, ABC Private Limited, who is in the business of acquisition of shares and security. PQR and company are the auditors of ABC Private Limited. The important financial information of ABC Private Limited is as under: paid up capital 67 lakh, loans and borrowing 72 lakh, turnover 154 lakh, reserves and surplus 18.36 lakh. Based on the above case scenario, answer the following MCQs. Okay, Mr. K, the engagement partner of CAP and company, failed to maintain any documentation of the whole verification process and did not perform the testing on the PPE at the end of the financial year. Select the appropriate option as per SA 299. Okay, right. So joint auditors, they by mutual discussion need to decide upon the division of audit areas and the common audit areas. And once that is decided, they need to prepare something called as the work allocation document, WAD, and a work allocation document which has to be in writing and it has to be signed by all the joint auditors. It could also be communicated, a copy of it could also be given to the client. Right. So now, and who is responsible for the work which is divided? The respective joint auditor to whom that work has been allocated. And work which is not divided, it says jointly and severally responsible. Okay. Right. Now, what does it say in this question? Both the firms divided the work in accordance with 299. Shared the allocation. So, is there division of work? Yes. Is there documentation of the division of work? Yes. Is there communication regarding the division of work with TCWG? Also, yes. It shared the allocation of task with TCWG and started conducting the audit procedure. So, that means very clear that PP part was to be taken care of by CAP and company. Okay. So, was there division of work? Yes. Was there documentation of division of work? Yes. Was there communication regarding the division of work to TCWG also? Yes. So now in this case, who will be responsible for the work which is divided? The respective joint auditor to whom that work has been allocated. K is severally responsible for his own actions and the said work was his responsibility. No, Mr. B and Mr. jointly responsible as they both were joint auditors. K is responsible as well as B is responsible since B was not compulsorily required to verify the work of K and he has not verified the same. Is one joint auditor required to review the work of another joint auditor? No. Okay. Neither Mr. K nor Mr. B is liable for the actions of Mr. K. Then who is going to be liable? Somebody has to be liable. Right? So they are jointly responsible and Mr. K is severally responsible for his own actions and the said work was his responsibility. Yes, he is severally responsible for his own action and it was his responsibility. Right? It was his responsibility. Okay. The management of the company has adopted a new ERP system and accordingly the audit trail was maintained from December 3, 2023 only in the new ERP system. Whether the action of the auditors with respect to the reporting requirement of the audit trail was justified. Right? What does 143(3)(j) of the Companies Act say? That whether the company accounting software has an audit trail feature, whether it has operated throughout the year, whether it has not been tampered with and it has been preserved as per the statutory requirements for the record retention. Right? So what does it say? Operated throughout the year, not tampered with and it has been preserved as per the statutory requirements for the record retention. Yes, the action of the auditor was justified as it was the first year of implementation, hence auditors are not liable to report the same. Okay, action of auditor was justified as the audit trail was operational during the year and hence the auditors are not liable to report the same. No, the action of the auditor was not justified as the audit trail was not operational throughout the year, and hence it is the duty of the auditor to report the same in the main audit report. Yes, the action of the auditor was justified as the audit trail need not be reported in the main audit report. Oh my God. It has to be reported in the main audit report, reporting on other legal regulatory requirement. Right? So what does it say? The auditors are not liable to report? No. Right? It says was justified as audit trail was operational during the year, and hence the auditors are not liable to report? No. The action of the auditor was not justified as the audit trail was not operational throughout the year, and it is the duty of the auditor to report the same in the main audit report. Okay. Next one, B, engagement partner of BMS and company was responsible for verifying the procure to pay process. He did not perform any procedure and relied upon the work of internal auditor without keeping any documentation. Which of the following is correct as per SA 610? Mr. B can rely on the work of internal auditor. However, he must first discuss with the internal audit function and evaluate the adequacy of the work of the internal auditor, and must document the same regarding the evaluation of work of the internal auditor. Okay, internal auditor has already performed audit procedure on P2P, and hence statutory auditor can rely on the work without any further audit procedure and documentation. Oh, no. Audit procedure and scope of internal audit are altogether different from statutory audit, and therefore statutory auditor cannot use the work of internal auditor. Oh my God. Internal auditor has already performed audit procedure on P2P process, and hence the statutory auditor can rely on work of internal auditor after evaluating his work. However, statutory auditor is not required to document the same. Oh my God, ouch. So B, C, D out, A only you remain. Then B can rely on the work of internal auditor. However, he must first discuss with the internal audit function, evaluate the adequacy of work of internal auditor, must document the same regarding the evaluation of the work of internal auditor. Okay. Considering the above case, whether reporting under CARO 2020 will be applicable to ABC Private Limited. What do we say? CARO shall apply to every company, including a foreign company, except possible, and a private limited company subject to certain condition: one-person company, small company, Section 8 company, insurance company, banking company, and private limited company not being a holding or a subsidiary of a public company. And then paid up share capital reserves and surplus 1 crore, total borrowings 1 crore, total revenue as disclosed in Schedule 3 not exceeding 10 crore. And also 1 crore, and the 10 crore. But what does it say? Private limited company not being a holding or a subsidiary of a public company. Here what it is? It is a subsidiary of a public company. It has a wholly owned subsidiary, ABC Private Limited. So holding company is a public company. So is CARO applicable to ABC Private Limited? Yes. So no, yes. Okay. Right. So you see, ma'am, that's how we solve MCQs. Yeah, but you have to know the logic also behind the same. Yes, so yes, since the company is a wholly owned subsidiary of a listed company, because SEBI LODR, they are complying with WYZ Limited. No, since the company is a private limited company. No, since the company is in the business of acquisition of shared security, that is for consolidated financial statements, investment entity did not prepare consolidated. No, since the company is a small company as per Companies Act. No. What does it fit into? It is a wholly owned subsidiary of a listed company, is a WYZ Limited. While preparing consolidated financial statements of WYZ Limited, division of responsibility between auditors of WYZ and the auditors of ABC Private Limited should be reported in. And okay, out of the above, like we say for branch audit, 4,000 branches have been audited by the other auditor, and we've considered the reports of the other auditor while preparing our own report. Right? So our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Right? So like what is there for branch audit? Same thing for the conso also, for the group audit also. So where is it required to be written in the report? Emphasis of matter, key audit matter, going concern, other matter. Key audit matter, matter of most significance. Going concern, whenever there is a material uncertainty regarding the going concern, and adequate disclosures have been made by the management. Emphasis of matter, fundamental to the user's understanding, and other matter, relevant to the user's understanding. Right? So out of the whatever work has been done by the other auditor, that has to be mentioned in the other matter paragraph. Okay, right. Now coming to some independent MCQs over there. Subin Engineering, a borrower of the branch, has fully utilized its sanction credit limit of 400 lakh with an outstanding balance of 413 lakh as on 2024. The bank classified the account as a substandard asset. So bank audit. During an inspection, the DGM observed that the borrower's premises were damaged with no machinery, stock or other assets present. The borrower was unreachable, and an independent verification of the assets confirmed that no mortgage security was available except for a piece of land with a realizable value of 33 lakh. The bank accepted this report and made a provision considering the account as a substandard asset. Where the correct classification and provisioning norms have been applied in the account of Subin Engineering, right? So we say accounts where there is an erosion in the value of the security, more than 50% erosion, straight away to be classified as doubtful asset, and more than 90% erosion, straight away to be classified as loss asset. Here, what is the value? What is the balance? 413 lakh. What is the value of the security? 33 lakh. So is there more than 90% erosion in the value of the security? Yes, straight away to be classified as a loss asset. The account is correctly classified, but provision should be made at 100% for the unsecured portion besides making the specific provision on the secured portion. They classified it as substandard. Okay. The account should have been classified as doubtful asset, and besides making required provision on secured provision should have been made at 100% of the unsecured portion. The account should have been classified as loss asset, and full provision should have been made in the books of account, 100% provision. Account should have been classified as doubtful asset, and full provision should have been made in the books of account. So it says doubtful, correctly classified, doubtful, and here it says secured, unsecured, here it says full provision, and here it says it has to be classified as a loss asset. More than 90% erosion in the value of the security, straight away to be classified as loss asset. Wonderful. Next one. CA Praveen is appointed by KSN Limited for 23-24. While verifying payroll data of the company, it has come to his notice that provisions of law preventing employment of child labor are not being adhered to, and the company is employing child labor. SA 250, consideration of laws and regulations in an audit of financial statements, and also no clerk. And what comes in professional ethics? The company also exports part of its turnover, and the matter has gone unnoticed in compliance audit carried out by agencies of overseas buyers. With respect to the auditor's observation relating to the matter of the child labor, which is the most appropriate course of action for him to proceed in this matter, CA Praveen should ignore this matter as it will not affect these financial statements. We will ignore this point. CA Praveen must report the matter to the concerned government department. No, you don't pick up your phone and call the labor authorities. Like in ethics, we say moment you find a taxation fraud, you don't call up the income tax authority. But you also don't associate your client, associate with such a client, right? You rather, you tell your client that the disclosure will only lead to penalties, but non-disclosure and subsequent discovery may lead to imprisonment and fine in addition to penalty, right? And if you don't disclose, we will disassociate. And the moment we disassociate, authorities may start investigation. But no social service, no calling labor authorities, no calling income tax authority. Okay, CA Praveen should obtain further information to evaluate the possible effect on the financial statements. He should evaluate the implications of non-compliance for audit risk assessment, and CA Praveen should express a modified opinion in the audit report. This is like hyper. See the modified report. It says no. CA Praveen should obtain further information to evaluate the possible effect on the financial statements. Besides, he should evaluate the implications of the non-compliance for the audit risk assessment. Okay. And coming to the last one. Mohini Limited paid their arrears of undisputed statutory dues just a day before the date of the audit report. After after this, now the auditor believes that only disputed dues need to be reported under CARO, as undisputed dues are paid before the date of the audit report. Which of the following is the most appropriate course of action for the auditor in this situation? As on the balance sheet date, they were outstanding. They were paid on or before the date of the audit report. So even those dues are required to be reported. Okay, auditor is required to report the disputed statutory dues only in accordance with clause 8B. Oh, 8B is what? Undisclosed income. We don't like this option, as there is no requirement to report on undisputed statutory dues if they are paid on or before the date of audit report. No, the auditor is required to report both disputed and undisputed dues in accordance with 7A and 7B of para 3 of CARO 2020. Auditor should consult with legal counsel to determine the reporting requirements for disputed, undisputed statutory dues under CARO 2020. Auditor should discuss the matter with the management and obtain their agreement. Oh my God, this auditor asks so much to the management to obtain their agreement to report both disputed and undisputed statutory dues in the CARO 2020 report. No, auditor is the king. Auditor is required to report both disputed and undisputed. Maybe he can give a note that subsequently these undisputed dues have been deposited on or before the date of the report, but still they were not deposited up to the date of the balance sheet. Right? So both disputed and undisputed statutory dues in accordance with the 7A and 7B of the para 3 of the CARO 2020. Okay, so always, doing the MCQs from the MTP, RTP is a wonderful set of practice for us, because see, there is one question regarding CARO, then there is a question regarding SA 250, then there is a question regarding bank audit. So look at the variety. And a bank audit, then before that there is a question regarding the audit report, then again a question regarding the applicability of the CARO, that was clause 7 of CARO, then there is a question on SA 610 using the work of internal auditor, then there is a question on Companies Act 2013 reporting requirement, and then there is a question regarding SA 299. So full variety. And when we get to see these MCQ questions over there, it's a full variety. And if you have come to the Aarti Lahoti or Audit Learning YouTube channel, you see that, on this there are a lot of amendment videos and there are a lot of MCQ integrated case scenario videos also. If you go back in the database of the videos, you'll see many of these, integrated case scenario videos over there, right? So if that is some part, if it is lacking in your preparation, you could also watch those particular videos, right? Please do writing practice. That is very, very important for audit paper. And thank you so much for your patient listening. Thank you.